Welcome to session 6, which is about shading. The ability to control sunshine entering the home is actually really important. We mentioned before that each square metre of sunlight carries with it about between 500 and 1,000 watts of heat. That heat you feel, in the morning, on a cool morning when it's sunny, you can feel that heat on your back or on your skin. That heat is exactly the same. It enters through glass, and sometimes you want that in your home and sometimes you don't. People put curtains up thinking that it controls the heat entering a house, but it's actually nowhere near as effective as using something that blocks the sun out in the first place. That is shading. When you have a well-designed passive solar home, it automatically excludes the sun in summer and lets it in winter. We talked about that in the orientation session. However, if you just turn the house a little bit or have rooms off to the side or west, if anything's a bit different, you actually have to actively control the shade. It used to be really, really common. A lot of houses in the 50s had roller blinds and that sort of thing that they would put down in summer to protect the porch or whatever it was. Got a little away from that for a while, but I think now blinds and active shading is an important part of the consideration of comfort in a home. There are a heap of different options when it comes to products that actually can be moved seasonally, and now is not the time to talk about that, but we will dwell a little bit on actually the design of the right width of veranda or eave to provide that automatic shading that we were talking about. And going back to the Your Home book, there's actually a little formula in there which is a pretty good rule of thumb guide for what depth your eave needs to be to create enough shade to keep your house cool in summer. So this diagram here shows the different positions of the sun in summer versus winter, bearing in mind that this is for homes pretty much south of Brisbane. When you're up in the tropics, the sun is much more overhead and this rule doesn't apply. But really from Brisbane and south, this is true. You can see that the summer sun is higher in the sky and therefore the shade created by the eave goes lower down the wall. In winter, the sun is lower in the sky towards the north and the eave will only cast shadow down a small fraction of the wall, which is in fact exactly what you want. So you can see from this diagram that the width of the eave is about 45% of H. What is H? H is the distance between the bottom of the eave and the windowsill. Again, most of this thinking has been done for you by Green Homes back at head office in the design stage, but it's important for you to understand why the windows are the way they are so that you don't go, that's all right, let's just bang that one down to the floor or put it up higher to get around the pipes or whatever. The location of the windows is actually really quite important, as is the width of the eave, for creating an amount of comfort without actually having to switch anything on or off or change the positions of blinds or anything like that. So as mentioned, that diagram was really about shading on a passive solar home in the southern half of Australia. What do you do up north? Well, essentially, you stop sun falling on the house at all, really. If you're in an environment where the dominant energy use is going to be for cooling a home, so think about looking around the suburb, do most people have air conditioners or heaters? If you're in that sort of region, then by and large, it will be advantageous to stop sun falling on the windows of the home, but even the walls of the home. You really want to try and keep the building itself, the building fabric, as cool as possible.